This is Ken the Metal Professor, and it is time for the Northwest Indiana Wrestling Action Program, the year-end/year start edition of NWIWRAP. And what I've done for this particular show is have phone interviews with as many promoters of regional wrestling companies as I could get to talk to me, to give us an overview of where they ended up in 2017, such as who their current title holders are, and what's going to be coming up in early 2018 in that company. So you're going to hear from 6 different promoters, and you'll find out who they are and what organization they represent at the start of each interview. Each interview is separated by a little ding, ding, ding of a bell, so you'll know when one is stopping and the next one's starting, because I'm not going to interrupt in between these things. I'm just going to let them play. There are 2 promotions that are notable in our area that I do not have represented in this show. One is Backbreaker Wrestling out of Griffith, Indiana. And the reason I don't have them in this show is that Sean Spinks, the promoter of that organization, is going to be in the studio in just a couple of weeks to talk about the next show that they have coming up in early February. So he's going to get to talk to us for like half an hour if he wants to. And so since that's coming up in just a couple of weeks, I didn't want to be redundant by having something in this set as well. And the other one is Functified Wrestling, FWF. They run out in Warsaw, Indiana, and it just didn't work out in terms of timing to coordinate with Brian Johnson, who would have talked to me. So I can tell you a little bit about what's going on with them myself. So FWF has 4 titles circulating at the moment. Their heavyweight champion is currently Officer Rod Street. The hardcore champion is Adam Bueller, who was in the studio just a few weeks ago. The cruiserweight champion is Roger Lanier, and the tag team champions are the Midwest Monsters. Their first show is coming up January 20th at 7 o'clock Eastern in Warsaw. It's called New Year's Funk 4, and it's going to be at White Diamond Limousine Service in Warsaw, Indiana. You can get all this information at the page metalprofessor.com, so you don't need to get a pencil and write it down now. Some of the matches that have been announced are the heavyweight championship match between the champ Rod Street and challenger Nick Cutler, the hardcore championship match between Adam Bueller, the champion, and Fireball, the cruiserweight title match between the champion Roger Lanier and Jacob Braun, the tag team championship match between Champs Midwest Monsters and the New School, and other matches such as the Soul Shooters versus Anthony Toatelli and Alexander S. Kirk, Cletus Farmer versus SWAT member 145, Drax O'Brien versus J.C. Bunyan, and Maltese Tiger versus Steven Drochner. For the rest of the conversations, I didn't want to show any preference to any one group over the other, and so since the companies are presented in alphabetical order on my website's recap of 2017, metalprofessor.com, I'm going to do them in reverse alphabetical order here on the show. And so you'll hear first from Jerry Wilson representing Revolution Championship Wrestling, RCW. And then at the very end of the line, you'll hear Michael Allen, General Manager of ACW, Acme Championship Wrestling. And when we were done talking, we both realized we forgot to mention that at the ACW event, School's Out, coming up in May, the big high-profile match on that show is going to be a returning Maverick Cage against the ACW owner, Jimmy Holmes. And so that's going to be something to watch, and I just wanted to mention that now since I told him that I would. So here you go, about 50 minutes worth of wrestling talk from many promotions in our area. With me now is Jerry Wilson, the promoter of RCW, Revolution Championship Wrestling, who runs mostly in kind of the north-central Indiana area, South Bend and Mishawaka. How are you doing, Jerry?
I'm doing just fine. How about yourself?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for taking a few minutes to chat here for the airwaves in Valparaiso and beyond. At least I hope people from beyond get to listen once in a while. Let's talk about what's been going on at RCW and what's coming up in 2018. So if I have my information right, which a lot of times I don't, you guys have 4 titles, is that right? The heavyweight, women's, United States, and tag team?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anthony Toatelli is your current heavyweight champion.
Yes.
And was that a surprise for you guys? Did he kind of come out of the blue, or was he somebody you were keeping your eye on?
He's a really good young kid. If you've ever seen a match with his, you know that he's definitely what we like to call a blue chipper. And he beat our longest reigning ever heavyweight champion, which was Jack Thriller. Jack Thriller held the belt for close to a year and a half, and so it was kind of unexpected. But you know what? We support Anthony all the way, and we're looking forward to seeing what he can do in 2018.
Who is next in line for a title shot with him?
Well, there's a few people. I'm not going to give away any secrets yet, as far as who he will be defending the title against, on our first show. But I will tell you, there's a few people in line. I know Officer Rod Street, is looking to, get another title shot. I know, Caleb Stills is also in line to be looking to get another title shot at Anthony. And the list goes on and on, to be honest with you, but I don't want to give away everything, but Anthony's got a big surprise coming towards him at our first show of 2018. So.
All right, so he's going to be a busy man.
He's going to be a real busy man in 2018.
Okay, talk about your women's championship.
Maria James, first ever champion. She's held the belt since April of last year. She's defended it countless times against countless different women. I mean, what else can I say? Like, she definitely doesn't like to play nice. She plays dirty. She does whatever she needs to do to retain her title. But she's also got some challengers coming her way in 2018. Some different women coming from around the Midwest area have definitely taken notice, and it's going to be very interesting to see the women's division in RCW in 2018 for sure.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to see who comes your way to try to take that thing from her. The United States champion is Kevin Storm, and I think he had kind of an attitude change during this year, didn't he?
He did. He wasn't, as I would like to say, he wasn't on the right path. But he had a change of heart halfway through 2017. I think he realized that the fans were starting to support him, and that he needed to show them love back, instead of trying to tear them down every single time he went out there. So yeah, he's all, like I said, all these champions, I hope they're all prepared, by the way, because RCW is throwing everything at all of our champions in 2018, for sure.
Are Lumber and Lightning? I know they're your favorites, probably.
They are two of my closest friends, actually. It was announced the other day, though, that the Midwest Monsters will be taking on Lumber and Lightning in the first show of 2018.
So that'll be a trial by fire for them. I know have they defended yet? I think they did at the end of...
They defended, at our last event that we had, which was back in September. They defended against Legendary, obviously had a successful defense. But this is going to be a whole different ball game because, Midwest Monsters are not two guys to mess with, for sure. So
that is true. And so you've mentioned a couple of times this first show of 2018, and that is called Rise of the Revolution. Is that right?
Yeah, Rise of the Rise of the Revolution is going to be on March 10th of 2018.
And it's at the Battelle Center in Mishawaka, which to me is a great place to see shows. I love watching shows in that venue. What do you have to say to anybody who's thinking about coming to an RCW show?
I mean, this is going to be the show that, I mean, if you're wanting some really, really solid, good wrestling to come watch, I would definitely suggest you come watch this event. We have Maple Leaf Muscle, Petey Williams from Impact Wrestling is going to be a special guest that night. We also have Impact Wrestling star Congo Kong is going to be in the building. We've announced a few matches so far. I know that one match that I'm looking forward to is the Dark Horse Nick Cutler versus Special Dark Sugar Dunkerton. I'm looking forward to that match more than anybody I think knows. I literally, when I saw this match that was going to get announced, I said, oh dear God, I was like, this is going to be great.
That should be fun.
Also, like I said, the tag team titles are on the line. Lumber and Lightning will take on the Midwest Monsters. And the other match, which I think could just steal the show in any promotion anywhere that's been announced, is a fatal four-way match with the Iron Demon Shane Mercer taking on a newcomer from the Chicagoland area, the Voodoo King, Mojo McQueen. Also in the match is the main event, Justin Maine. He is from the Detroit, Michigan area, really standout competitor up there. And the last person, a guy making his return to RCW, is the Chief, Owen Travers. And if you haven't seen any of these men before, you must be living under a rock, because all four of these men, even in their areas across the Midwest, across the United States, are very well known. And I think this match is going to blow the roof off the building.
That should be good. I must be peeking out from under my rock, because I've seen 3 of them. I haven't yet been able to see Justin Maine, so I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Justin Maine, he's from the Detroit, Michigan area. But he's been at one RCW show before, early last year. But he's going to be making his return to RCW again. Like I said, that match is alone, I think it could be worth the price of admission. But, you know, I can't tell you to not come see this show, but I will tell you this: if you do miss this show, you're going to miss out on some really great wrestling, because RCW is going to be bringing it to you, not only on March 10th, but every single show we have planned for 2018. We're coming into this year bigger and better, and yeah, I mean, that's really all I have to say about that.
Okay, that's great. Thanks for stopping in for a little bit here, at least virtually. I'm looking forward to the show, and Happy New Year to all you guys at RCW and your families.
You as well, Ken, and thank you for having me on. Like I said, just come out and see the show March 10th, 2018 at the Battelle Center, Rise of the Revolution. If you'd like to follow us on Facebook, it's facebook.com/Join the Revolution RCW. You can also follow us on Twitter at RCW_Indiana. And I thank you for having me on, and I hope you have a good New Year as well, Ken.
Okay, thank you, sir. I'll be seeing you soon.
All right, thank you.
So with me is Eric King, the head honcho of Pro Wrestling King. I've always wondered, Eric, if your last name was Jones, would the promotion still be called Pro Wrestling King?
Yeah, actually it is, but no, it's not. It's actually last name's King.
Coming out of 2017 and going into 2018, I'm going to see if I have this right. You have three. You guys have three active belts. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay, so
we got the heavyweight title, the online title, and tag team titles.
okay, and you stand. If I'm remembering right from the last shows I saw, Tank holds the heavyweight title.
Yeah, that's correct. The Tank does hold that.
And Spirit of Detroit is the tag team champion.
That's correct.
And Adam Bueller is the online champion.
That is correct as well.
Okay, I don't want to put you on the spot here. Well, actually, I do a little bit. Who do you think is in the most immediate danger of having somebody else take their title away in 2018?
I would say probably the Spirit of Detroit, because everybody is really eyeing for that title. They've held the title for over a year, and everybody really seems like they're really have the bull's point right on their back.
I think so.
Or the bullseye. Yeah, the bullseye is on their back. So I think they're the ones that, if anybody's going to get the title, I think there's somebody's going to go after them and get it.
Okay. Who is somebody we should look out for in 2018? Maybe somebody who's relatively new or has been around a while but hasn't achieved, really high ranks with titles. Who's going to be the person to watch?
As far as like a singles team to go after a title, or
yeah, sure.
I think probably somebody that has really proved himself over the last year is Jaden Quick. He's had some really big battles with Adam Bueller. So I would think he might be somebody that this next year might see a title opportunity.
Okay. Sounds good. And so the Pro Wrestling King shows will be getting rolling in March. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
Okay, and you guys are going to be running shows in South Bend. Can you say something about this new gig you have with a particular location?
Oh yeah, well, the Beacon. It used to be an old bowling alley, and they within the last year they've revamped and made it into a big convention center that is designed around the community. They've got boxing and martial arts and a lot of other activities that are designed around bringing the youth into the building to kind of keep them out of trouble. And kind of the whole idea is to help them raise money to allow the center to keep growing. And we're going to be running in there one time a month for the first 6 months. And if everything goes well, then it'll be one of the new homes for Pro Wrestling King going forward.
Awesome. And I was poking around, and it looked like specifically Saturday, March 24th is your first day. Will that be a show at this location?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't have the dates right in front of me right at the moment.
Sure.
But that sounds right. I know, without looking at it, we have a show in Peru, Indiana, which would make up for the makeup date for the bad weather.
Oh,
or
right.
I wasn't able to do the show in December. So.
Okay. It's really early, but do you have any matches kind of in your mind as something to start off the year with a bang?
Well, yeah, one of the big matches when we make our debut down in Logansport at the State Theater, we have John Tate Keith versus Owen Travers. So that's a match that I'm really looking forward to. I know both guys really have wanted to work each other for a long time. So they're both really excited about that match, and something that I think a lot of people are going to be excited to see as well.
Are you still having trouble with Diesel Troxy and his cohort?
Oh, the whole Rat Pack group.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys are a thorn in my side. And, let's just say I want to be a thorn in their side as well. So
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for taking some time with me, and best of luck as this year gets started for you guys. And as we get closer to March 24th, then we'll look for some matches to get announced. And if you want to check in and give us more information, just let me know.
okay, sounds great. Sounds great.
Okay. Thanks, Eric. With me on the line now is Adam Nielsen, the promoter / big cheese / head honcho of EHF Wrestling. How are you, Adam?
I'm doing good. Another title is General Manager.
General Manager.
The official title that they gave me, yes.
Okay.
So
Capital G, capital M.
Yes, sir. Generally managing all kinds of different stuff. So yeah.
Okay. What are your main responsibilities there?
Oh wow, a little bit of everything. You do flyers, videos, talk to the venues, booking talent, and working on storylines, angles, things like that. Also, getting flyers out, getting tickets sold. Let's see, what else do I do? Talent development, meeting new talent. A little bit of everything. When they say general manager, it's not just a title. I mean, generally, I'm involved with everything. We're going to be putting out T-shirts and new EHF merchandise this coming year, and got lots of shows coming up, and it's going to be a good year for EHF.
That's awesome. So in my mind, I'm calling you a relatively new promotion because I became aware of you earlier in 2017. When did you start up?
Actually, they started in 2016 was the first official show, I believe, that ZB Falcons was Extreme Homecoming was the first show in a real venue, I guess would be a way to put it. No backyard shows. But so they started there, and then they took some time off, and I actually came on board with them in April of this year. Since it's we're recording New Year's Eve, don't tell anybody we're recording. Sorry, but you can edit that. But no, I came on board when they were doing the back to school shows. There was a series of shows in Buchanan back in April, and came on as a commentator. And I also got in the ring, just kind of made an ass of myself for the entertainment of the fans at the start of the show, and then that caught on. So I ended up coming out at the beginning of each show and having a different spot, and just doing something, just to keep, just kind of, I don't know, set the mood, break the ice, I guess. And so I did the commentary thing for a little while, and then they had their battle for the GM position between Damian Saint and Johnny Hately, and I'm over here going, these are your only two choices. Are you serious? And so we ended up doing a debate, and that went well at the Century Center, and I ended up getting the position of general manager, and I brought Johnny Hately back on as a regular manager, and Damian Saint's still doing his thing, but it's been fun, and we got a lot of fun things coming up in 2018. We're going to crown new tag team champions in March. Our first show of the year is January 20th at the Century Center, and the main event is D.W. Kelly versus Sedan, and the one-on-one match fans really, really wanted. And then March 3rd, we'll be doing the tag team tournament. March 16th, we will be doing a fundraiser for the Niles School community. And after that, we're going to be checking out new venues and new dates and figuring out where we're going next. So we've got the first half of the year pretty much figured out, and then the second half we're gonna play it by ear and figure out where we're going with it. I'd like to do some traveling with EHF. We love our Niles and South Bend audience, but I'd like to get out on the road and maybe go to some bigger towns too.
Sure. Do you have other titles apart from the heavyweight championship, which is held by Sedan, and the upcoming tag team championship?
We have our United States Championship that is held by the Celtic Nightmare, and in January 20th, he will be facing Ames, Mr. Inappropriate, for the U.S. title. And also, too, before the year is out, we'd like to crown a women's champion.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm actually scribbling that down because when I was racking my brain and kind of going through promotional flyers and stuff to see what title information I could remember or find, I found, I knew about Sedan because I've been at a couple of shows, but I didn't remember the U.S. title. So, that's great.
He let's see, at Extreme Homecoming, I think was when he, Homecoming 2. He defeated Lightning Bolt Johnson, became the first U.S. title holder for EHF.
Okay. Do you guys have any up-and-comers in the promotion that haven't yet held one of these titles, but, are making things look good for themselves and their trajectory?
D.W. Kelly's our number one contender, and he's been putting out consistent, solid performances, and definitely looking forward to seeing what he can do and what he grows into. And we've got some of our other guys that are still being developed, and hopefully they will, the cream will rise. So that's also about what you put into it. Some people are out there and they're grinding and they're putting into it, and I believe in them and look forward to their future. Other people not putting in the same amount of effort, and they're not going to get the same push. So it's basically we're an equal opportunity business, and also just to make your own opportunity. Show us that you want it, and we'll give you the opportunity. Some people are content to be stagnant, or they just want to show up and have fun and be a rock star for a night, but not put in the effort leading up to it. And those people aren't going to go very far, because I know what kind of effort I put into it. And I'm just the promoter and general manager, So, it really, at the end of the day, it's not about putting friends over because they're your friends. It's just a business, and we want the right people and the best people to represent us as champions.
Definitely. Now, I have to, talking about all the work you've been doing, and to use your phrase, being in the ring and, once or twice making an ass out of yourself at the right place and the right time, doing things like jumping off of the top turnbuckle onto a bunch of people standing outside the ring, like at the last show. What does your daughter think that's really cool, or does she just roll her eyes at you when you're showing her that stuff?
Well, she's here with me. Should we ask her?
Yeah, why not?
No, she want to be on? Okay, hang on. Okay. Said me jumping off the rope, was that cool, or do you roll your eyes and don't care?
It's cool.
All right, you heard it here first.
All right. That's a good answer.
Yeah. So it was, and again, it was, when I first wrestled was back in like 05, 06, 07 in that area, and she wasn't alive yet, so this is now, I took a little bit of time off from it, and now being back into it and being able to, share these things with her, and knowing that my kid was in the 7th row when I did that. And that, it was fun. It was really the father-daughter time, it was a good time, so.
That's neat. So, best of luck to you guys in the upcoming year. Do you have any last quick words for anybody who's listening who might be considering coming out to an EHF show, but they're still on the fence?
We're the best. We always put on the best shows. We always put in the most effort. We've got the lighting, we've got the ring, we've got the people. And, we put full effort into what we do. We're not half-assing anything. So if you're doubting or wondering, come buy a ticket and find out, and you'll see for yourself.
That's great. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your day to talk to us here on WVLP, and have a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. Thank you for your time.
You bet. And I'll be seeing you guys in a couple months, I guess.
All right. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
You are listening to WVLP LP 103.1 FM in Valparaiso, Indiana. With me now is Mikey Blanton, the Big Cheese. Can I call you the Big Cheese?
No, you cannot.
Okay.
No, I don't care. You call me whatever you want.
The Lord Supreme of Black Label Pro Wrestling. How's that? Is that better?
Sounds great.
Okay, good. While you're with me, I'm hoping that you can tell us what Black Label Pro has coming up in the new year. I know you have a few shows scheduled and you're trying to get on a regular rotation, so you want to tell everybody about that?
Yeah. We have January 13th. We have We're Not the Mounties with Quebecer Pierre is going to be there. A bunch of good talent. We're having the Black Label Pro Rumble, which is going to be awesome. And then February 10th, we have Slamilton. That's going to be a unique event, too. And then March 10th, I have not named it yet, but it'll be something like that, I guess. July, we're going to have a tag tournament. And, yeah, we just have a lot of cool stuff coming up.
Okay. So you've got this all mapped out pretty well so far.
Oh, of course. I'm a very meticulous human being.
And it seemed like that in 2017, you had it mapped out nicely. You had the 3 shows to start up with, and that led to the crowning of the first Black Label Pro Heavyweight Champion in Filthy Tom Lawler. Is that right?
Filthy Tom is the champ, yes. He is. He has the belt with him everywhere he goes. He has it with him this weekend. He had it in Cleveland last night. They'll have it again in, I think, Massachusetts tomorrow night. So he's taking that belt everywhere.
Nice. And the Rumble that you mentioned, that the person who wins that will have a shot at the title later. And can you say how many people are going to be in that thing?
Yes, I believe it will be 30. Don't quote me on that. It could be 20. It just all depends on how we go about it. I haven't quite decided that yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be 30. And our first entrant announced was Brian Pillman Jr.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be exciting. He's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy.
Good. I haven't seen him yet. That'll be fun. Do you anticipate starting any other titles during the year?
I believe we're going to have tag champions in July. Don't quote me on that. That's the goal of that for that tag tournament. But it just all depends on how everything goes.
Okay. Well, I know one of the other promotions in the Northern Indiana area has an online championship. If you guys ever decide to have a radio airwaves championship, you let me know.
Yeah, we have it. It's me. I'm the champ of that, and I don't plan on defending it anytime soon.
Oh, that's rough. So, do you have any particular favorite people that you have signed to come in and perform that you're particularly looking forward to?
Yeah, there's quite a few. Like I said, I'm very meticulous, so I like to kind of announce them as they come.
Sure.
There's a individual named Eli Everfly that is going to be coming in March, and that's an exclusive for you. So be excited about that.
I'm tingling.
Looked him up. He's from California, and he flips like the best of the flippy guys. So you'll see him. You'll enjoy him. He's awesome.
Nice. Do you have like an overall philosophy about how to decide who you're going to bring in? Because you are pulling from different directions than a lot of the other folks that run in this area. Yes.
I don't believe in settling, I guess, because like a lot of like and it works. I mean, like the other companies around here, they work. I mean, the companies they have their fan bases, and it's great, and I like what they're doing. It's what they're doing. It's just not my philosophy. I like using guys that are going to try to earn it, that are willing to travel, they're willing to go far just to get noticed, and I like that. And people send me tapes like every day. I get tons, and I look through footage and I find the best, and that's all I'm trying to do.
Do you have any last magic words of wisdom for folks that are considering a Black Label Pro show starting off this new year?
Yes, January 13th, we're at the Mounties in Crown Point. Be there. I think doors open at like 7 o'clock. I don't know. I should know that, but I don't. Follow us on Twitter. It's BLabelPro or at BLabelPro. And on Facebook, you just go to blacklabelpro. It's blacklabelpro.pizza.
blacklabelpro.pizza.
Yes.
Where does the .pizza come from?
I think .com is boring. Plus, we couldn't have it, so I was looking for different unique things you could get, and I found .pizza.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That makes it memorable, definitely.
Oh, absolutely. But and we are very appreciative of all the fans that came out so far, and just want more.
All right. Well, thank you for taking a few minutes here. Happy New Year to you and your family, and best of luck with the shows coming up.
You too. Thanks a lot.
I have on the phone with me now King Bishop of ARW Pro, Adrenaline Ringside Wrestling. Thanks for calling in and taking a few minutes of your time.
I just accidentally got the wrong number. I didn't realize that I didn't mean to bother you, so.
Well, even if you're the wrong person, hang out, just make up answers that sound good, and we'll go with it.
Yeah, and I'm getting up there in years, stuff. I thought I was talking to Alexa, so I mean, it's just one of those things, so. Yeah, I was trying to order a pizza.
You've now accidentally ordered a life-size Transformer. It will be delivered to your house in 2 days.
Well, that would be good. So.
All right, so ARW Pro, coming out of 2017, had an interesting end of the year with the title, the heavyweight title, going back and forth between Rough Crossing and Max Holiday. But if I have my old man brain working properly, Max Holiday is currently the title holder. Is that true?
Yeah, Max Holiday came through on our last show of the year, our night before Thanksgiving, Daniel Chavez Memorial Show, and Max walked away back to be the heavyweight champion again for a second time. So,
sure. And you guys also crowned your new women's champion.
We had the first ever women's champion in Moxie Molly, who has been with us for about a year now and has shown, great fortitude and great strength. And she came out of a three-way match as the first ever ARW Women's Champion. So we're very proud of her.
And anybody who can stick it to Chaz Moretti, that's a good thing.
It's a plus. That's always a plus, and everything like that, So there's a lot of things, if you get around Chaz Moretti, a lot of things stick to Chaz Moretti. He's a greaseball. So, what can I tell you? So, yeah. But,
well, following that unfortunate thread, then we have the tag team champions, Aggravated Assault.
Yeah, who, earlier in the year, had decided to, join in with Chaz Moretti, and we had a match where the title was vacant and the winner was going to come out of it as the tag team champions, formerly with Rat Flywheel, and kind of on the fan favorite side of things. What would soon become Aggravated Assault, which is, Brutus Welker and Punisher 747, they decided to change into Aggravated Assault and have held on to the title for about over half the year. So they're a force to be reckoned with. There ain't no doubt about that.
And then, if I'm counting right, the fourth of four titles is the Indiana State Championship, and that's held by Excalibur.
And Excalibur, who broke away from the family, and the way things are coming, what we have coming up here on January 13th, Charlie slipped a contract through, and Excalibur will face the entire family in a gauntlet match. And so
that's serious.
That's a little brutal. I don't know how that one got through, but it did. And, he doesn't have to face them all at once, but, as he beats one, the next one comes. And, so Excalibur's Indiana title reign, the title will not be on the line. I was able to at least stop that end of things. He's definitely got his work cut out for him. So
yeah, I'm getting sore already just thinking about that.
There's some big boys.
Instead of a fans bring the weapons match, this could be a fans bring the first aid kit match.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, fans bring the stretcher, So, we'll see what goes on there. But so far, and we had Dakota Prodigy, who is the former Indiana champion that Excalibur beat in at Gavitt High School in Hammond, and he's he hasn't had to really put the title on the line yet, but we're not going to make him do it when he has to face the entire family. So but he teamed with the Beast in our last show of the year to try to get back some measure of revenge. The match was so completely out of control, it never even became a match. I don't think the bell ever rang, except for continuously trying to get all the people out of the ring. And so this whole feud is, it's something.
Definitely.
It's a little bitter, so because you just don't leave the family and have them, they don't slough things off very easily, so.
Well, I hope Excalibur comes through it stronger.
At one point, even Max Holiday, our heavyweight champion, was a member of the family, and, that was, there were some brutal matches involved in that as well. So, like I say, as we, are heading into the new year, we'll be heading into more excitement. There's going to be some new people coming our way. There's going to be some more big matches and the great fun that everybody who's ever been to an ARW show has come to expect. And,
right, and you mentioned the first one's coming up real quick. That's Saturday, January 13th.
January 13th at the American Legion. I believe we're going to start changing our times a little earlier to 7 o'clock.
Oh, okay.
So doors will be open at 6. Yeah. And
okay.
Yeah.
And after that, you guys run. Is it the second Saturday of every month?
Usually the second Saturday of every month. So, and we're going to be back in some of the high schools, and we're going to be back out at our home at the American Legion, and we just kind of look for our ARW Pro Live Facebook page to for further details.
Okay. Last question: is there anybody kind of waiting in the wings that's a person to look out for in ARW in 2018?
Well, I'm just trying to look out for myself, and everything like that. It gets very dangerous around there. But, no, there's always people. There's always people on the horizon. I think that we've seen some of Richie Rothschild and Johnny Motley showed up on our last show. I think they're definitely people that have been successful in the area, and we will have hopefully they will be back again. Theo Storm. There's always young talent trying to get in, trying to make their name in here against the more established vets. That is a very big part of ARW. And it's a tough road to hoe. So, but I do admire the tenacity shown by him, shown by some of these younger guys. So.
All right. Well, thank you for taking a few minutes of your time. I will let you get back to the Bears.
No problem. Yeah, I have a crying towel set over to the head here, the last Bears game of the year. So,
the pain will be over soon.
It will be over soon. It is not going down easily. So, anyway, thank you.
All right. Well, have a happy new year.
And a supporter of ARW, we sure do appreciate it.
You bet. My pleasure. With me now is Michael Allen, General Manager of Acme Championship Wrestling, also known as ACW. Thanks for calling in.
Oh, thank you very much, Ken. Thanks for having me. Appreciate the time.
I hope you're having a good end of 2017 and a nice start to 2018 coming up.
Yeah, so far so good. How about yourself?
We'll see. We're going to do a little traveling next week.
So check with me again once we're back from that. At least we get to leave during the cold snap. That'll be nice.
That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah. So ACW wound up 2017 earlier this month at Winter Warfare. Winter Warfare, was it 4 or 5? It was 5, right?
I believe it was 5. I think everybody was confused by the dates. I believe we ended up figuring out that it was indeed 5.
Okay, good. And if I dug out my information properly, do you have 3 active titles? Heavyweight, Intercontinental, and Tough Man?
You are correct. Absolutely.
Okay, good. So you ended the year with, looks like Drexo Dell still being heavyweight champion. Xavier
much
Black.
to my dismay. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you do what you can. Xavier Black as Intercontinental champ, and then the big surprise, Cliff Caviar is the Tough Man champion. So how did that come out of the blue on you?
Oh, absolutely. I the whole time I kept trying to call and see if he wanted to, I was trying to book him in a match. He kept giving me the runaround, telling me that he was going to be out of town on his yacht, traveling. He had no desire to come perform in front of our fans for the end of the year. And so I fully expected, him not to be around. And I told our champ, Crimson Dynamo at the time, I said, hey, go out there. I don't really have anything for you. If you want to go out and do an open challenge, feel free. And that's what he did. And I know you were there in attendance. A surprise person came out dressed up as Blue Dynamo. He came out and he wrestled the match and ended up being victorious in the match, and then pulled off his mask, and it revealed himself as Mr. Cliff Caviar. So
that was a nice little trick on his part.
Now that makes me hey, sometimes you can't trust some of these guys. It's very interesting sometimes.
Well, with Cliff Caviar and Xavier Black and Drexo Dell as your title holders, does that make your job harder or easier as we get into 2018?
We've got 3 guys who live life a little more on the bad side of the world, a little more on the edgy side of the world. They don't like to follow rules. They don't like to follow directions. They kind of like to do what they want, all 3 of them. So I would definitely say it makes my job a little harder. I would say that our Continental champion, Xavier Black, I will say that he is a professional, and he does put on some pretty good matches, and he is our longest reigning champion. So I would say that he doesn't make my job too hard, because I don't have to worry about, I know I'm always going to get a really good match out of him, regardless of what I do. But it's these other guys, I said, none of them like to follow many rules, and none of them like to do what they're told. So we'll see how this year plans out.
Do you have anybody on the roster, or maybe looking to be on the roster, that you kind of have an eye on as the person that you think might make the most waves in the new year?
Ooh, we've got a couple guys. I'm really interested to see this new persona of Austin Fury. He came out at the end of the year in our last show after he had lost a couple matches in a row, and he lost his opening match to Rockstar, and he came out and pretty much hijacked the show in a couple different spots throughout the show.
Yeah, multiple times.
Yeah, attacking Jared Kripke and attacking Excalibur. Two of our well liked fan favorites in the company, and he came out and brutalized him. So very interested to see what that's all about and how that plays out. It's going to be very, very interesting, because Austin Fury's been one of our fan favorites since the inception of our federation. So that one's going to be real interesting. I also think, like I said, Jared Kripke, he's an up and coming star. I really like him. I think he's got a lot of potential. I think one of those guys that he just goes 100 miles an hour the whole time he's in there, and he gives it everything for the fans. And I really see some really good potential in him, as well as Excalibur. I think the more and more I build this Intercontinental Championship division, the more and more I'm trying to round that title out to be more of a cruiserweight work rate type of high flying, fast pace type matches. So I'm looking for all those guys to put on quite a show in that division coming 2018.
That's good.
I know there's also Yeah, sorry, sorry about that. There's also the classic guys who've been around forever, the rock stars and the Rick Raids and the guys who have been around that'll always be in the mix. And and also, now that we've got a new champion in Cliff Caviar, that'll be see, he's never held a title with us before, so it'll be real interesting to see how he does with this.
Well, if drags himself off the golf course and hanging out with Donald Trump, maybe he'll do some good things for you. Who knows?
You never know.
Now, you had mentioned Rick Raid. How about that ladder match that took place at the last show?
That match even exceeded my expectations. The funny part about it was I thought, they were up on the ladder. I thought, at one point that was it. They were up there punching each other. I thought for sure, one of them was going to knock each other off and they were going to grab that contract and it was going to be over. And, Macho proceeds to suplex Rick Raid off the top of the ladder, which even surprised me. So, those guys went crazy. They went above and beyond. They put their bodies on the line for a crowd that, that have always been, Lincoln's kind of been our home. So they really put their bodies on the line and put on a match that I think is one for the ages for sure.
Definitely. That was nuts. And so looking into the first show of 2018, that sets a pretty high bar. If I remember from the last show, the title of the show coming up in 2018 is School's Out. Do you have a date or a rough date for that yet?
School's Out usually is in May. We don't have an exact date for School's Out yet. That one will be at Lincoln Elementary, and it'll be sometime in May. The dates I have now currently are all going to be at the DeMont Boxing Club in DeMont.
Okay.
And those dates have already been scheduled and planned out. The Lincoln dates, sometimes when we book at the Lincoln School, those dates sometimes take a little longer because they have to go through a board to get approval. So we'll have the School's Out show will be more to come. We'll definitely announce that date as soon as we can get that.
They probably do something like ridiculous, like prioritize the students and their need for the gym.
Yeah, why would they do that? Come on.
I don't know.
Hey, wrestling should take top priority in everything, I think. I don't know about you, but no, that's funny. No, I think it's one of those, they always have to run it by the superintendents and the boards and get those approvals before we can say yay or nay. I know we usually have a Hebron show every year too, which I was told might potentially be, because we didn't have it last fall, might potentially be this spring as well. So that Hebron show is always huge. It's one of our biggest draws. That school goes above and beyond when it comes to promoting. They put stipulations on matches between teachers and do things like that over the intercom to make the matches just mean so much more to the students and make everybody come. I believe both times we've had the show there, we've had 500 plus attendance. So it's crazy. Wow. Sounds like the Allstate Arena when the lights go out in there. So that one's a date to look forward to too if Hebron decides to do that this spring, which I believe has been the talk. So
okay.
But the dates we do currently have
specific dates.
Yes, we have 4 at the DeMont Boxing Club that are already on the schedule. I confirmed these with our owner Jimmy the other day. We will be doing February 9th at the Boxing Club. We will be doing March 9th at the Boxing Club. We will be doing April 13th at the Boxing Club and May 11th at the Boxing Club. So all 4 of those will be at the Boxing Club, and then we will plug in other shows around. But we just wanted to get some consistent month-to-month dates in place so that we had them ready, and then we could toss in other dates. So there might be a few months where we have more than one show.
Okay. That's great news. That's because I was sad that it looked like I might have to wait until May for my next ACW show, but that's February 9th then is the one coming up.
Yes, February 9th at our Boxing Club down on Route 10. Yes.
I haven't been to one of those yet. I've only been to the ones at the school, so I'm looking forward to that.
It's a fun atmosphere because it's really, it's not a huge venue by any means, maybe fits, 110 with standing room. It's not crazy, but we can really, the sound is great and the acoustics in there are great and you really can get, up and close no matter where you sit inside that place. So it's really, it's kind of the home of Acme too, as well as where they train and where all the guys train and work out and things like that. So it's kind of cool to be able to do it kind of right in your backyard.
Okay. Well, put on your salesman hat and tell listeners who have not yet been to an ACW show, might be on the fence about going, why they should come.
Well, I would definitely say that ACW is a premier federation in the area. We've really worked hard to bring in not only keep our main talent we've always had, but to bring in guys who really fit with our style and our locker room, and you're really going to get, no matter who's out there, you're going to get 100% from these guys. These guys are going to put their bodies on the line to make sure that you have a fun time. Your $8 to $10 you spend to come out, I mean, you can't beat $8 to $10 entertainment in this area anywhere. So I mean, you're going to spend that, any more on lunch. So just think about a potential 3-hour show that you're going to be able to come out, see the kids go crazy. We do everything family friendly. The kids love it. And it's one of those things where, I think that we just put on a great show. We have a great light presentation with our show as well. And it just makes it, I think, one of the premier federations in the area to come out and see and enjoy some local pro wrestling. Support kids who definitely, kids and guys who definitely have a dream and are out there fulfilling it. So.
And that's good. I can vouch for that. I have fun every time I come to one of the shows.
Well, hey, I appreciate it. I'm glad you do. And I'm glad you do what you do with all this local radio publicity for all our federations. It's so great to have someone who appreciates it and goes out there and goes out of his way to promote it. So always appreciate that, Ken.
Well, thank you. Talking about me is a great way to end this segment then. So I appreciate that.
Hey, absolutely. And hopefully, hey, maybe one of these days, me and Drex, who knows? We'll see what happens, right? I know you always love that part.
We'll have you guys back. We'll have you guys back out to the studio sometime for a more in-depth conversation, and maybe both of you at the same time would be an interesting.
That'd be very interesting. Me and Mr. Odell, absolutely.
All right. Well, best of luck to you guys in the new year, and I look forward to seeing you in February.
Sounds great. February 9th. We'll see you there, Ken.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Take care.